I'm now in Paraguay, my first new country that I've visited in almost a year. And I got here last night, and I shouldn't really judge a whole country just from a small area that I've been in less than 24 hours. So I'm going to give that a couple more weeks before I go if it's worth visiting. But Paraguay is one of them countries that hardly any tourist backpackers will go to. It's sort of in the heart of South America, surrounded by more famous ones like Argentina, Brazil. So it's not really that well known, I would have said. So basically I'm just going to have a wander around this area, find out more about the country. So the hostel I'm staying in is the cheapest on booking.com, just around the corner down there. It's £5 a night. It's a bit rough around the edges. It's not my favourite one, I'll admit, but I am on a budget. And talking of budget, I've just made my first mistake in Paraguay. So across the road is a ATM just over there, and I thought, right, after last night's fiasco of trying to pay for stuff using contactless Apple Pay on my phone, which is not massive over here, I thought I'd take some money out. Now, most ATMs will give a certain limit of what can be taken out and then other amount. So I went for the top one, not realizing the exchange rate, and I took out 1.5 million guanas, which equates to, as I checked my bank on my phone straight away, about £180, and that's including a 40,000 withdrawal rate, which is a bit cheaper than Argentina. Oh my god, I'm a millionaire. 1.5 million. Now, because of the problems with the Apple Pay, it makes sense that I should have cash to give out, but I would expect £180 worth. Thank God I have got money in my bank. So that is my challenge, to try and keep to £180 over the next 2 weeks of being in Paraguay. That's a challenge. So even though I am in a cheap hostel, I've booked for 2 nights, I am moving to another one tomorrow morning. Oh, that looks quite cool over there. Let's walk across the road. I mean, I have no idea of this area. I have been told by people in the hostel there is a modern side to the capital city where I am now, and I think the hostel is going towards the historical side. I have got 4 or 5 days here, so I'm going to say as much as I can. But Paraguay is a landlocked country, and what is fascinating is it's got one of the biggest navies of a landlocked country. So that's mainly used for going across the rivers, to stop the drug barons and the bad boys taking across the river going up north. Right, I might have to look at the map to find out if there's something, anything around here to walk to, even a coffee shop to start spending my Paraguayan money. And what I'll do is, once I get to somewhere a little bit safer, I'll be able to show you what the money looks like. Another thing I'm learning very quickly about Asuncion is that Google Maps tells lies. So, in fact, let's walk down here. Obviously, when I got here, very hungry, tried to find somewhere that used Apple Pay or my card, and looked at places that were open, and out of the 3 of them that said was open were all closed. Don't trust the internet. So I ended up going to a shop in the end and just getting some noodles, which filled me up. Now, English in Paraguay is not that well spoken. It's going to be a little bit of a fun challenge trying to get around. Look at that. Oh, let's climb these stairs. But it is a bilingual country, so it has got 2 official languages, which is Spanish, and then 90% of the population speak, I've got to read this now, Guarani, which is the indigenous language from ever that's been spoken here. Where does this lead you to? Oh, another street. I just assumed that with big stairs it would lead you to somewhere exciting. Maybe not. So yeah, Paraguay is the only country in the Americas where most people who aren't indigenous still speak an indigenous language, which is a little bit crazy. Now, Paraguay was one of the first countries in South America to gain independence from Spain way back in 1811, and that's before a lot of the bigger names like Argentina. Oh, there's a green statue up there. And another thing about Paraguay, which is a bit of a weird one, the Paraguay flag is different on each side, front and back, which is a little bit random. So I'm hoping I will see a Paraguayan flag on my walk today. But that statue is, let's get around the front. But again, there's some big stairs. It's like a grand staircase. Not too sure who she is, the female. She's got wings, she's holding something in her hand, and she's got a nice view of this. We can see the river in the background as well, where I think that could be Argentina over there. When you get to the bottom of the stairs and you look up at the monument, it looks quite really impressive. So there's a little sign just there which I've just translated, and basically this was built in 1928, so this must have been like an influential area at the time, and it's linked to one of Paraguay's early rebellions. Wow. So I am going to head towards the river-ish. There's a park, I've just looked at a map. Oh, they don't like to stop these cars. So yeah, there's a park called Uruguay Park. Have a look around there, and more importantly, there is a coffee shop. And I did hear last night, so I had to check it out, that Paraguay's got the fastest growing economy in South America. And I did bump into a German couple when I was in Uruguay. which links into the park. And they were telling me that they've moved to Paraguay because of this, and they've got nationality for Paraguay now, and they were explaining me how they've gone about it. And then in the hostel itself, there is a South Korean guy who's doing exactly the same. He's left South Korea to move here. He's going through the initial stages of getting his nationality to Paraguay. So there's a lot of people moving here. Now this looks like an area that is like the edge of the city centre. And it is a Saturday lunchtime. It's just after 1 o'clock. So a lot of places will start to be closed because it's afternoon. So yeah, so it's going to be 2 weeks in Paraguay to see as much of the country as I can. A lot of the country is covered by forests, and you can do tours to go and see the wildlife, but not within my budget, which is a bit of a shame. And as I've moved further up north from Patagonia, it has started getting warmer. I really had to use the aircon last night because it was very close, very warm. So my very first Paraguayan flag, and you can just see a symbol on one side. Because there's no wind, you can't see the other side. I need wind. But more importantly, there's a coffee shop. I need coffee. Well, that's the coffee shop I've just been in. Fika. And what a surprise. The two ladies running the place spoke really good English. In fact, better than me. So helpful, so friendly. And this is what I had. Cappuccino and a dark fruit crumble cake pie. Really nice. No idea how much it cost because I paid with Paraguayan money. Not too sure what I paid, but I got change. And this is the park I was heading for. Uruguay Park. Is that a library? Huh. So I want to try and find a little spot away from people so I can get my money out so I can have a look at it properly. Hola. Looks quite decent. Ish. So Plaza Uruguay, and they've got a little sign up there as you come into the entrance, and behind the sign it looks like there's a walking tour going on. But the sign goes, 1 human per day needs 20 trees to provide oxygen for them. Wow. Now the park looks a bit busier than what I thought it'd be. Lots of statues. But the main one, the centre, it's a bit random, so I recognised the name. So Artigas was one of Uruguay's most famous historical leaders in a park named after the country. You think, in Paraguay, but it all leads to when every one of them were fighting against Spain for the independence. There's mutual respect for each other. That's quite cool. So I found a little space to sit down, and mosquitoes. I'm getting bitten alive here. The guy just walked past, just laughed and went, mosquitoes? Yeah. So, right, I've got the money out. So the big one I've got is, this is what came out of the bank machine. So that's 100,000 of the money. I need to work out how much all this lot is. And then you got 20,000 with various, ouch. Right, I need to start moving, I think. 5,000. Yeah, just lots of thousands in their money. And obviously I won't be carrying this all in my wallet. I'm going to put a lot of it into my backpack, just for safety reasons. But I'm going to move before I get bitten anymore. Now, one of the things that I was told by one of the ladies in the coffee shop, and she gave me a warning, and that is the weather. She said this time of year it can change at the drop of a hat, and already I can feel some drops of rain coming down. And if you look through the trees, you can see how dark them clouds are. So I think there's going to be a downpour, which is a perfect excuse for me to go back to the hostel. But as I said, 2 weeks in Paraguay, trying to see as much as I can, but this was just an introduction. And if you enjoyed this little video, then all you got to do is press that like button if you want to see what Paraguay is like, because so far it's a little bit different from Argentina. Then all you got to do is subscribe. But until the next time, because I am just on the edge of the historical centre that way, that's where we'll be tomorrow. Bye bye for now.